Hi everyone, I'm Claire.
And I'm John.
And today we're looking at Unit 9. Yeah, right. I was trying there to convey that this article is about sarcasm. As a British person, I feel like we are well known for our sarcasm. But before we get into the details, what exactly is sarcasm?
I think you could make it pretty simple with the definition, although I think the usage is going to be a bit more subtle and a bit more nuanced. But basically, you're saying one thing, but it's not what you really mean. It's an expression where you're saying one thing, but it's not what you really mean. And that can be, it's usually you say something positive and you mean something negative. But you can do it the other way. I'm not sure if I've heard that, but you could. However, it gets very nuanced. And like you said, the British are well known for both their dry humor and the sarcasm that is laced in it. One of my favorite forms. And so I'm well versed in that. Well versed in sarcasm.
It always makes me happy to find when Americans are not only understand sarcasm, but even use it themselves.
Yeah. I might learn the second part later, but at least for the first part, I can understand. You know, when you're first in Korean, you're like, I can read that sign, but I'm not sure if I can have a conversation.
Yes. Yeah. And then the sarcasm was shown in your facial expression.
The facial expressions. Yeah, so it does get nuanced with tone, facial expressions, even body movements. Timing can be also a clue. And sometimes there's no clues. And you're just left there wondering, were they serious or were they sarcastic?
Yes, when you said dry humor, I think it's common in Britain for people to give no clues about their sarcasm, which makes it a bit uncomfortable.
It's so good too. It's so good. And it's a great defense as well. You can always say, oh, I was just making a joke. It's just sarcasm.
Yes, it can be a bit manipulative.
Yeah. With whom, and I kind of wonder when, do you use sarcasm the most?
Definitely only with people I know well. Like all forms of humor, I think you've got to be careful because not everybody appreciates every form of humor. So I have to know that person well, know that they like sarcasm and are not going to be offended by it. So I can't use it with strangers. It's too risky.
Have you ever used it as a vetting method for friends? Like someone's getting closer and you're like, okay, I'm going to use some sarcasm. If they get it, I can let them a little bit closer.
I like that, yes. Oh, I will use that trick next time.
Yeah, that would be a resounding no.
I haven't done it yet, but now you've given me the idea.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Have you done that? Have you vetted friends using?
I mean, maybe not at every turn, but I have definitely done that a few times. And I know if they don't get that sarcasm, that there might be a barrier between us and them. And that was when I was younger. Nowadays, it's not as much. If they don't understand sarcasm, we can still be close. It doesn't matter.
Let's understand a little bit more about the relationship between sarcasm and our brains with the article.
Yeah, right. Teenagers are notorious for their sarcasm, and listening to it can get annoying for adults. But it turns out that going through the thought processes required for sarcasm is good for your brain. Research has shown that thinking about sarcastic humor significantly enhances a person's ability to think creatively. Teenagers' constant sarcasm may actually be a form of mental exercise. Conversely, being unable to understand sarcasm is potentially a sign of problems.